Hey, you Stygian Dogs. As I suspect was the case for many Canadian fathers, I received this as a Christmas present. Geddy Lee's memoir, My Effin Life. Geddy Lee, of course, is the lead singer, bassist, and keyboardist for the band Rush. Out of the gate, I will concede the following. I am not a Rush mega fan, but I do really like Rush. I consider Geddy Lee and Neil Peart to be two of the greatest rock instrumentalists of all time. I'm also a bassist and a Torontonian, so given this, the book has a special allure. As mentioned, I suspect the book, like the band, is most popular among a male demographic, though I'll note, I never had the chance to see the band live, whereas my wife has seen them live several times, so stereotypes are sometimes defied. I'll mention here that My Effin Life is Geddy Lee's second book. His first book, Geddy Lee's Big Beautiful Book of Bass, is the ultimate coffee table book and one of my prized possessions. Any player will get lost for hours in its glory. It's a must-have, and I believe it remains in print. And as Neil writes in an email to Geddy, 'tis a far, far bigger book on bass guitar than the world ever thought they wanted. Now, returning to My Effin Life, the cover presents a photo of Lee from 1970, taken by his wife, Nancy Young. On the rear is a photo by Richard Sibbald. It's of Lee rocking out in his contemporary glory. Under the jacket, we see gorgeous purple foil lettering on the spine. The interior gives us a fun collage of Rush-related mementos, backstage passes, buttons, badges, and the like. It comes in at 512 pages with a prologue, 28 chapters, acknowledgments, and photo credits. And there are so many photos throughout. Black and white images amidst the text, and sections of glossy color images as you'd expect in a memoir of this kind. It's great stuff. And on this title page, you'll see that My Effin Life was written with Daniel Richler. Daniel Richler is a Canadian writer who happens to be the son of the renowned author Mordecai Richler. He was very influential to me in high school when, in the early 90s, he hosted the TV Ontario literary series Imprint. And fans of Prisoners of Gravity may not know that he's credited as creator along with Mark Asquith. That show, of course, was hosted by Rick Green and was on the forefront of nerd culture for people around my age. It was certainly the earliest and maybe only program of its kind dealing with comics, science fiction, and fantasy. The prologue addresses how Gershon Eliezer Weinrib came to be known as Geddy Lee, and then the first two chapters cover his early life, ending with a marked loss that I hadn't realized he'd endured. There is an immediate appeal in these chapters of the post-war Canadian immigrant story, something that is shared by so many of us, even if our own stories and places of origin vary. Now, the telling of his story in these chapters and throughout the book definitely tap into a nostalgia for Toronto and Canada of that era. The third chapter tells the harrowing story of Lee's parents, mostly his mother's family's experience during the Holocaust. This is a tremendously well-researched chapter, and I think it's a triumph of a personal history that should resonate with us today. I feel that being able to document a part of your lineage in such detail and being able to share that with your children and grandchildren and the rest of the world is a wonderful gift to the future. And Lee will revisit this history and the impact on his life from time to time throughout the rest of the book. After the very heavy chapter that is the third, we return to Lee's personal and musical journey, or slog, up to the band's eponymous release in 1974, and then the departure of founding drummer John Rutsey, and at around page 163, Neil Peart joins the band. From there, it's a whirlwind journey of touring and recording on repeat. We get great road stories, a taste of their touring life, Geddy and the band's workhorse determination and work ethic, and also glimpses of their friendship, literary influences, and personalities. As the book starts to dive into album by album reflections on songwriting and production, I made it my practice after reading several chapters in the evening to take the opportunity the next day to listen to each album that had been referenced the night before. This really brought home the band's musical development. It gave me a chance to think about the author's personal observations, giving insight into the band's growth and experimentation over time and through changing musical trends. It's a great opportunity to review their catalog, and it really hammers home Rush's unique sound and their superlative musicianship. I enjoyed the book on several fronts. First, there is definitely the aspect of Canadian comfort food to it. Canadians, likely born of innocence or inferiority, get a kick out of seeing ourselves, and the book invites us to reminisce. The familiarity of time and place, the Canadian immigrant experience, Toronto, its streets, its neighborhoods, the Yorkville music scene, red cap stubbies, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of nostalgia to it, making the reader feel like they're a part of the story. And for me, there were personal connections too. My friend's father is remembered fondly in the book, and this was really meaningful to her and her family. There's the mention of blue-eyed soul singer George Oliver in the Ontario touring circuit. This made me think about my father's own musical dreams and what he sacrificed to become the amazing dad that he is. And then there's the relatable joy of buying your first bass rig only to realize how heavy it is as you're trying to lug it home. As a musician and a music fan, I also enjoyed the details that Geddy Lee gets into with regard to songwriting, the technical aspects of recording, his and his band's approach to rehearsing and performing, and obviously there's the shenanigans and anecdotes about the band and those that they toured with. He's also rather frank about controversial subjects like his voice. It's a story about a life well lived, someone whose path feels like it was inevitable even though it's forged by perseverance and passion. And part of a life well lived is the inevitable experience of loss. The book's later chapters, while they have humor and love, there is also ominous foreboding. We get the heartbreaking story of the loss of Neil Peart's daughter and wife, and we know in time that we'll experience the loss of Neil Peart too. Invariably, though, grief turns to remembrance and the clockwork of life continues. By the end, the book feels like a statement of gratitude. It's a love letter to friendship and family, and friendships as family. Rush fans will certainly appreciate the book. They may be aware of many of the stories, but I'm sure they'll appreciate having everything captured in a single volume, with the bonus that it's a pretty nice artifact to have on your shelf. I'd also recommend it to casual fans of the band and the curious. People like me for whom the band has just always been around, a distinct part of Canadiana. So I do recommend My Effin Life by Geddy Lee. It's a great effin' book. A couple items as postscript. Guitarist Alex Lifeson often gets short shrift given the band's epic rhythm section, but the Rush sound is as much his as it is Geddy Lee's and Neil Peart's. And as timing would have it, Godin Guitarist just released a signature model under his name. It looks great. Check it out. Also worth checking out is a TV show from Geddy Lee. It's called Geddy Lee Asks, Are Bass Players Human Too? I like to think the answer is maybe. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.